Do you regulate your emotions or let them run amok? Maybe I'm the only one that uses that expression, run amok. It means we let things get out of control, out of our control. And guess what? The only person that can handle our emotions, and we need to use our thinking to do that, that's how it ties into mental health and well-being, is you. Nobody can do it for you. People can, give you some outside pressure. They can give you feedback, but they actually cannot regulate your emotions or determine how you're going to respond or react to anything. So let's talk about this today. I'm going to give you a little challenge. We are looking at mental health and well-being all this month. And one of the things that I've learned a long, long time ago, yet I still struggle with it, I think all of us humans do, is controlling my emotions. When I was a little girl, my family had an expression, Sherry, pop the cork. They would always tell me to pop the cork because I was a very emotional, very exuberant youngster, and sometimes I would just explode, and so they would say pop the cork so that I would not explode. Guess what that did? It had the exact opposite effect. Whenever anyone in my family would say pop the cork, that usually just set me off faster. So I think people try to do things and teach us things to help us, but it's not always what we need at the time. At the time, looking back, I just needed to be me and to express the things that I was feeling, experiencing, and thinking that I didn't know how to express without being pretty volatile. Anyway, it's the story of pop the cork. I'm going to challenge you to never say that to your children. I have a granddaughter who's very much like I was as a child, but I would never say pop the cork to her. So today, we want to talk about our emotions. Why? Yeah, we spend a whole month focusing on emotions, but we don't go deep into how does our thinking help us to create the emotional vibrations and frequency we want in order to create the life that we want. Because we'll only create the life that we think about, feel about, visualize, and then take action to create. And if we're always having emotional reactions that are knocking us off our paths and off our trails, the direction we want to go, guess what? It's going to take a really long time to get different things in our life, to reach different milestones that we set for ourselves. Nobody sets them for us. We get to decide exactly what we want our life to look like. Now, I can already hear you saying, I don't get to decide, so-and-so does, so-and-so, or some either boss or person in your family or whatever decides for you. No, they don't. You just decide to go along with them. Ever done that? I did it for 25 years in my marriage. I convinced myself that I could fix the other person, and I didn't even realize consciously that I didn't realize it. I didn't do it consciously. Subconsciously, that is what was going on in my life. And that if I just was better or more worthy, somehow that would all be okay. Guess what? We cannot fix anyone but ourselves. And when something doesn't work for us anymore, we need to make a different choice. And that requires thinking. That's how we tie this in together. So, question. Do you feel your emotions and just feel them and react? Or do you actually become our emotions? How often do we say, I am tired, I am hungry, I am lazy, I am a klutz? Every single day, many of us repeat those things unconsciously and subconsciously over and over and over again, thousands of times. If we were to ever say those things out loud, we would never say those out loud. How many people have ever said, I'm not good enough, I feel like everybody else is better than me, and that everything in life is easier for them? We don't say those things out loud unless we're in a very secure relationship or a very secure environment. We just don't do that. I'm in a community on the school platform where we do share a lot of stuff. And I get in trouble because I don't get in trouble, but I feel guilty that I don't share a lot of things in there. And I do it for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think I'm in a very different position personally, professionally, developmentally than a lot of the people in the community. And so it doesn't feel appropriate to share those things in there. And that maybe that's my excuse because I don't want to share things in there. But as we look across our life and how we share and do not share, we get to decide in each environment we put ourselves in how much of us, the whole 100% of us, is going to show up or not. And in a professional environment, for example, at my corporate career, a whole lot of me just never showed up at work, right? Because that wasn't me. It wasn't professional. And every once in a while it would peek out like the fun and excitement and curiosity. But for the most part, I was very professional and very organized and very strategic in my corporate career. and the businesses that I work for and the companies that I consult for. But we're multifaceted human beings. So we're going to feel all the emotions, the whole range of them, the good, the bad, the ugly. Here I'm going to say ugly because some of our emotions are just plain ugly. And we want to get out of those as quickly as possible. And the only way to get out of those or to change those or to change our state is by thinking. We have to first notice and become aware that, oh my God, my emotions are getting away with me and taking me down a road and direction I don't want to go. It's how people can be depressed for decades. It's how people can be happy for decades. It's a choice. And I'm sure if someone's depressed and you told them that, they'd get really pissed off. And that's, again, everybody's on their own journey. Some people, I guess, have a destiny and a journey to be depressed for decades. And I'm going to say without medication, with or without medication. That's another topic for another day. All right. So what are we going to do today? When you feel a strong emotion, I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself a couple of questions about it. Number one, what is this? Where are you feeling this? And how is it impacting you right now? Where are you feeling it in your body? What thoughts are going through your head? And if you can, write down some of those things because it allows us to go back and revisit and say, okay, well, these are all the things I personally have to do in order to feel frustrated. These are all the things I have to do in order to feel stressed or burnt out or exhausted or overwhelmed. We want to know what our definition is for each of these things. This is the thinking part, so we can decide if it makes sense or not. If it doesn't make sense, we can change our definition. I did this with frustration. In my Italian food business, I was frustrated every single day. And one day I sat down at my desk in my office and I'm like, what am I frustrated about today? And how did I get here? And it was pretty early in the day, so I was beating myself up a little bit. And then I realized that if everything in the business wasn't going exactly how I expected it to, now how crazy is this? Then I was frustrated. Well, I don't know about you, but if you're leading other human beings in any quantity, even your children or your family, how often does everything go, everything or anything, exactly how you expect it to and want it to? Very, very small percentage of the time, right? And so guess what? I found myself frustrated every freaking day. And so I realized I can either be frustrated every day and struggle and stress and burn out and actually have a sudden cardiac arrest, or I can change. My definition of frustration was the fastest way for me to do that. I learned that strategy from Tony Robbins decades earlier, but obviously was not implementing and using all of the things I had learned before. And so I changed my definition of frustration. And now it is almost impossible, except with my granddaughters, I've slipped again, to feel frustrated or to feel like anything should be happening differently than it absolutely positively is. Because everything is happening for a reason, to show me something about myself. And it's usually that I'm letting frustration creep back in, kick it to the curb and reinforce my definition of it. So you can use that as a method. You can breathe. You can do whatever helps you to change your state. Usually changing my body, my physiology, putting on some music, going outside, just sitting by a window and looking outside for a minute. All of those things work for me. Your challenge is to figure out and know what works for you. So you have a toolbox of things when you catch yourself and your emotions running amok or going crazy or taking over your situation in life. You have the ability to rein yourself in and make a different choice, make a different decision. So today, share in the comments below one emotion that you are going to harness and take control of today. I guarantee you don't need to sit for 5 minutes. You don't need to think. You don't need to listen to your thoughts all day. You already know what the thing is. What is the one emotion? And maybe it's an emotion that you want more of. Maybe you want more love in your life. Maybe you want more connection, engagement, conversations, whatever it is. Our emotions, we think we want all these things, but really we just want the emotional state that all those things we think will provide for us. That's a little deep. You can think about that today. All right, that's it. If I can help in any way, ask. Otherwise, make it an amazing day. Don't let your emotions rule you. You rule them. And I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.